Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kriplani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Anjali is an Indian girl from Hong Kong who fell in love with music at a very young age. As she grew up, she found opportunities to pursue both dance and acting as well, and soon discovered her passion for performing and entertaining. As she balances her full-time role as a university student and her content creation on social media platforms, Anjali continues to grow her love for music and her dreams of becoming a full-time artist. Hi, Anjali. Welcome to Impact Duty.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you.
Same here. The pleasure is mine. And I believe you're in Barcelona at the moment.
Yes, I am. It's beautiful here. So I'm currently studying I'm doing an exchange program for about 5 months. So yeah, I'm in Barcelona. It's amazing. I honestly, it's surreal that I'm here. It's very different to home, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Wow. And you just said it's very different to home. So where is home?
Yeah, great question. So I'm from a few different places, but I would say home for me is Hong Kong. So I wasn't born there. I was born in Malaysia, but I moved to Hong Kong with my family when I was about 3 weeks old. And so I spent my entire life in Hong Kong. But I would say I identify as Indian with a bit of British influence. It's a bit of a complicated mix, but that's sort of the summarized version. But home is Hong Kong, always Hong Kong. Yeah.
Wow, excellent. And Anjali, I discovered you because I heard you sing on Instagram and I was totally taken aback. So I'm actually going to focus in on your journey. I mean, you're very young, but you are multi-talented. So we're going to start with your journey and how you discovered your many talents, because not just a singer, a dancer, an actor. So take us way back and tell us what you first started with and how you embarked on your journey.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, well, where did it begin? Honestly, it's hard to even recall. I would say it's it's quite a funny story. So I feel like as being Indian, being from an Indian family, as Indian parents do, they enjoy like gloating about their kids and their talents or whatever. So my parents would have their friends over for a meal or whatever, and inevitably before the night ends, my sister and I would be put to the test and be made to perform for them, whether we liked it or not. There's always that one moment where my parents are like, okay, Anjali, come on, let's show our friends like how you can sing. And I won't lie, I hated it at the time. I would always tell them like, please don't make me do this. I don't want to do this. But they're like, no, it's fun. It's great. They enjoy it. So I think that's where it began, where I started realizing like, oh, I guess I can sing and I guess people enjoy it. And so as I grew up, I realized more and more that that was actually something that was amazing that my parents did, that it really instilled a lot of confidence in me. Sorry, I keep touching my face because I'm like currently overcoming a bit of a cold. So I'm a little bit sniffly still. But anyway, so that's kind of where it started. And that's where I found my love for music. And now I'm really grateful that they made me perform that way. And then I guess through school as well. So school is where I started taking theatre as a subject. So I did it in my GCSEs and then through IB. So that was quite a few years of theatre performance. And that's when I developed more of my presentation skills and then my love for just the arts in general. And dance, I guess dance started actually earlier on as well, close to when I began loving music, where I started with Bharatanatyam. My mom actually is still actually a dancer. She does classical Bharatanatyam. So she put me and my sister into classes, and that's where that sort of stemmed from. And then as I grew up, I discovered different types of styles of dance. So I think, that's kind of where it began.
Right. And Bharatanatyam classes were easily accessible in Hong Kong? I guess we have a
Yes.
huge Indian community over there, right?
Yes, exactly. So it's surprising, I know, but there are tons of Indians in Hong Kong, and we actually had a very close friend a family friend who held classes as a passion project. So she invited us to start taking her lessons, and then her studio kind of grew from there. And unfortunately, she moved to India a few years later, but I continued my love for dance, in Hong Kong with the other Indians around me, and then through other opportunities that I found. Yeah.
Right. And I've seen some of your dance videos, and it's not just classical dancing. I do see a bit of Bollywood in there.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You
Yeah.
want to tell us a little bit about the shows you've done, and where you've performed and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So that's right. So Bollywood is, I mean, I'm such a Bollywood fan, I have to say. So,
So am I.
right? It just overtakes your life. It really does.
I don't know if it's a
Um,
thing about Indians living outside India, and that's why we're just so in love with Bollywood. I'm not really quite sure
yeah.
what the.
No, it honestly might be. It might be. I think we feel like that connection to our culture through Bollywood because it's so impactful, so present.
Mhm.
Yeah, I completely get you. So Bollywood is there. So I think my dance style now kind of has formed into more Bolly fusion, I would say. Um, and in terms of performances, so there's always Diwali was a big thing at my school. So we used to have this event called Diwali Ball, and in my final year at my school, I had the opportunity to organize the event. So that was really really cool. So during that event, every single year for about 7 years through high school, I performed as a dancer, and
Mhm.
a couple of years I performed as a singer as well. So that's kind of where I've done most of my dance performances.
Uh-huh.
um, and it would be quite a big thing where like over like 600 people would come and buy tickets and watch, and it was like a whole spectacle. It was like our version of like Bollywood, I would say.
Right.
So that was always really fun. That's a great memory that I have. Yeah.
And what's one of the your favorite performances? I'm sure you've done so many, but there would be a favorite, probably.
Gosh, yeah. There are so many to choose from. Um, I would say the one in which I was the organizer of. So that's when I had the chance to be a choreographer as well for my group. And we danced to the song Ab to Forever. I don't know if you know the song, but
Up to
yeah,
forever. That one,
yeah,
bring it on, bring it. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah. Oh, that's
I
exactly it.
don't
Yeah.
think I should be singing actually, and considering I'm
No,
not
that
the
was
one with the
spot on.
talent.
That was spot on. No, that was good. No, so that was one of my favorite performances because I managed to grab a lot of my guy friends as well who were like just not interested. Some of them were, but a lot of them were just like, no, this is performing on stage in front of all of our family, aunties and uncles. We're
Right.
not going to do this. But I was like, no, this is important. You have to do it. So yeah, we got all the guys on board, all the girls on board, and we did a bit of a guy girl sort of thing.
Mhm.
And that was a really fun thing because I just feel like our culture is one that really brings people together, and that
Right.
was a moment in which I felt that there was just a bunch of unity, and everyone was
Mhm.
just there to have the best time ever and enjoy my culture. So yeah, I would say that's one of my most memorable performances.
Excellent. Thank you. And on to acting, um, predominantly in English.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Could you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your acting skills
Yeah,
or what your
definitely.
performances have been?
Yeah. So predominantly English, meaning pretty much only in English, because I'm quite useless in terms of my other languages. Yeah, it's quite it's a shame. But yeah, so my acting. So like I said, I took lessons, like I took it as a subject in high school, I took it at higher level and everything because I loved it that much. And when I left high school, I wanted to take a few elective courses at university. So there was a musical theater course that I did. Um, and that was the first time that before that musical theater course, I was doing a lot of like just pure theater. So I would do, you know, monologues, more satire quite kind of things. But after I took the musical theater course and I realized that I can actually put all three of my passions into one, that's the route that I would really like to like pursue now. And I guess the biggest performance that I've done was actually just this summer, last summer in September, I would say. Where I performed as the lead actor in I don't know if you know it, but it's a Broadway musical called Wonderful Town. So yeah, my university was putting on a production of this musical, and I auditioned because I wanted to reconnect with my theater. You know, it was 2 years actually since, you know, COVID and everything. So there was 2 years of no performing. So this was my first performance after that. And I managed to secure the lead role, which was really awesome. And I was really grateful for that. And so, yeah, we rehearsed for about 2 months every single day. That was one of the most tiring experiences I think I've ever had. I won't lie, but it was so rewarding. We performed to about, I want to say like 800 to 1,000 people in one of the black box theaters in Hong Kong. And it was an amazing experience. I can't even explain it. Like the words just, they don't come out. Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity. Yeah. And the response was great. I think I didn't expect it to be that good, honestly. I didn't think that people would be that interested in musical theater. But you know, tons of my friends came to support, and they said it was amazing. My family was there, and you know, some of my theater teacher from high school managed to be there. So yeah, it was amazing.
And Anjali, on to music and singing, which is how I found you, or I first heard about you. I'm not quite sure which video it was that I came across, but I was just absolutely mesmerized. So I'm going to take you to singing and creating your own style and carving out a niche for yourself. So how did that all happen? Because you're trying to create a new, unique style of your own, right? So tell us a little bit about your singing.
Yeah, so I think I have to give it really to social media. Like I have to say that it's such a, as much as there are the downfalls and the you know, issues with social media, there I would say it's just an amazing platform to be able to share. So I found myself just wanting to create videos randomly and post them online because I just enjoyed the whole process of recording and seeing what it sounds like, and then creating a little, you know, piece of art that way. So that's how I started getting into the social media, you know, my Instagram creation. In terms of, you mentioned a niche, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question, because I would like to think that I have a niche, but I feel like I'm still carving it out. You know, it's not something that, I don't think you can necessarily plan a niche or plan exactly what you want to portray yourself as. It kind of just comes naturally. So it's something I'm still working on. But I would say my niche kind of comes from being a third culture kid. I think having that as part of a really strong part of my identity, you know, not really knowing where I'm from, but also feeling like I'm from everywhere is like, it's a bit, yeah, it kind of comes through in my music and the way that I interpret music and what I prefer to listen to. So I think having that, and I think now that that's kind of translated into a bit of a fusion type trend within what I create. So I think if I had to say right now what my niche is, it would be that having that fusion twist to what I put out into the world. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. I don't know. I would love to explore, you know, different styles of music, different languages. Now that I'm in Spain, I have the opportunity to really practice my Spanish as well. So that's kind of coming along. So yeah, let's see where it goes.
I'm not quite sure where Barcelona or what influences Barcelona may have on you. I'm quite excited to see that. And which was one of the videos then with singing that actually garnered some interest or got you noticed?
Oof. Gosh, that's a tough question. I think the first video that I ever kind of put out was actually just me playing piano. It was
Ah,
just, it wasn't even me singing because I think I was still in my very like awkward teen sort of I'm conscious about what I look like type phase. So
right,
I was like, I'm just gonna put the phone there and just play what I know on the piano. So I did that, and I think that was the first time that people realized that I liked music and that I had some musical sort of talent.
right.
So I got a lot of response from that, and then I put out another video where I sang Rise Up by Andra Day. I'm not sure if you know that song, but it was
Can you hum
very
it for
casual.
me?
Sure. Mm, and I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up in spite of the ache, I'll rise up. Sorry, my voice, because I'm still like getting over this cold. But yeah, that's kind
Thank
of
you,
the
Anjali. That was
the
lovely.
thanks. Um, so yeah, so I put that was a very casual cover. I didn't really like, I just again very conscious of what I looked like online. So just sort of put it up and was just left it at that. And then I started getting comments like, oh, I didn't know you could sing. I didn't know you could play piano. I was like, yeah, hello. Um, and then I took a bit of time just to do more live performances in school, so I didn't really look at my social media too much. And then from there I realized that Instagram is such a great platform to share and to appreciate other people's art. So university is where I started doing more of my covers, and now I've got sort of like a rhythm going
Mhm.
that I hope I don't lose anytime soon.
Yeah, I saw you recently with a DJ. Is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So AJ Wavy, yeah. So
that's
we
right.
managed to connect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we managed to connect. So again, Instagram, connecting people. So we just started chatting on there, and realized that we get along really well. We're like good friends now, which is great. Um, and luckily, I came to Barcelona at a good time. So, and because obviously I have family in the UK, I'm from the UK as well, and he's based in London. So we managed to on one of my trips to the UK, I managed to connect with him and say, hey, I'm in town, like it would be great if we could get something done. So it was a very impromptu thing because I wasn't there for a long time, so we just sort of met, hashed it out, realized like we have similar visions in terms of our fusion music,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, we managed to create something really cool.
Excellent, Anjali. And
Yeah.
you're quite the global citizen. For somebody so young, you're really quite a global citizen. Um, do you think that's made it easier or harder for you to chalk out a path?
Yeah. It's been hard, and it's been the reason for a lot of things.
Mhm.
So I would say, when someone asks me where I'm from, I used to struggle a lot because I would almost adapt my answer to what I think they would understand best. So if it was an
Right.
Indian person asking me, I would always start with Indian. But then I started realizing, like, what do I truly feel? Where
Mhm.
do I truly feel like I'm from? And I think now what the answer I gave you, which is that, home is Hong Kong. I feel very connected to Hong Kong, but I identify as Indian with a bit of British, influence. So I think that's kind of what I've over the years sort of chalked out as like my identity. But I won't lie, like it's been a struggle to kind of come to terms with not having a pure place that I'm from, and then having people from those places kind of tell me, no, you're not really from there though, are you?
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
like, where are you actually from? And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Yes, yes.
um so yeah, so it's been difficult in that sense, but I think at the end of the day, I am so grateful to be from the multiple places that I'm from. I don't think I would
Mhm.
have it any other way. And I think that it's shaped my perspective on the world really. And it's shaped the type of art that I enjoy. And
Mhm.
it's the biggest influence for me in terms of what I want to put out into the world through art.
Right. Excellent. And
Yeah.
over to routines, rituals, and people that have been inspirations for you. Do you have any routines or rituals that you follow in terms of singing or dancing or anything that, gives you some kind of form or?
Yeah. Okay. Again, I won't lie. I should practice way more than I do. I used to practice a lot. I used to sit on my piano, religiously, like for 2 hours, just practice, vocal warm-ups. And then it kind of got to uni and I was like, there's so many things to do in a day. So yeah, I need to get back into my routine. But in terms of people that inspire me, I have to say my family has been so supportive. And I know that that might be very cliche, everyone thanks their family. But for me, like I've been so pushed to express, and I've always been met with positivity when it comes to my art and my family. In fact, my dad is a great singer. He's the one that introduced us into classical music. Like when he would put me to sleep by singing, a Carnatic song. And like, he would like explain like the raga, which is the essence of the song. So he would like introduce me to Indian music, and that's where it kind of stemmed from. So he's always been an inspiration in terms of music. But again, I would say my sister as well. Like she's an amazing artist. She's so talented. And in fact, my brother is too, but he doesn't really do much with it. But I'd say, yeah, my sister has always been an inspiration in terms of performing. Like she would always go out there and put herself out there in terms of performances, stage, like meeting new people and just wanting to share her art. And so I always looked up to her for that. So that's, I think, my family. But the other thing that I want to share is that I'm really inspired, honestly, by other creators online. And I think there's this perception that, there's competition between us. And I just want to say that that's not necessarily true. That I do believe that there is a space online for everyone to share what they want to share. And that competition doesn't necessarily mean, taking up too much space or taking up someone else's space. So seeing other people online and seeing what they create and how much effort they put into their art is very inspirational for me. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And before I say goodbye to you, Anjali, what would you love to see manifest in the near future or in the far future? But we'll start with the near future. What would you like to see happen soon enough for you?
Yeah. Oh, so many things, too many things. Well, I hope firstly that I continue with my my postings online. I hope that people continue to enjoy what I post. I hope I want to start getting into music, writing my own music. So I've written my own songs already, but I think I'm still in that phase of figuring out my tone and my style and my like style of production. So that's something that I want to push a little bit more, maybe when I get back to Hong Kong and I have my setup again. And I also I think I want to look into musical theatre more. I would love to be able to put all three of my passions back into one and yeah, perform on stage. Stage is where my heart is, honestly. Yeah, I think being a stage performer is something that I want to pursue more and more. Yeah, but lots. There's just it's always going on. There's so much happening all the time. I just hope it never ends.
I hope so too. And Anjali, it's been an absolute delight speaking with you. And I can't wait to see where you take your skill set, especially the fusion of all three. So here's wishing you all the very, very best.
Thank you so much, Manisha. That's honestly been so sweet. Thank you for listening.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.